now is the cross-examination of Richard Jakpa has ended, which I essentially understand has ended his evidence in chief. Is that accurate?
Yes. No. So okay. So this is remember that court asked Mr. Richard Jakpa together with the Honorable Ato Forson to open their respective defense.
Yes.
Now, the Honorable Ato Forson opened his defense by calling two witnesses. By way of legal strategy, the Honorable Ato Forson never testified for himself. Because at all material time, during the process, we have indicated that he had authority. Okay?
Yes.
So what happened in this case is that... Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
So all we did was that we called the person who had or who gave him the authority. In fact, in the ruling by the judge on the submission of no case, the judge herself said, listen, I have seen that the Honorable Seth Terkper gave a statement to Yoko, giving an indication that he authorized the setting up of the LC. You understand? Now, having given the indication that he gave the authorization for the setting up of the LC, however, the statement he gave was not a statement he gave under oath. Because, usually the court places value. So the court took the view that since the statement was not given on oath, he should come. So he'll take the witness stand. And so we brought him. We brought the Honorable Alex Mood. He is a finance person, to come and speak to how LCs are established. So he came and testified to how LCs, and we closed our case. So Jakpa then opened his defense. You understand? So when Jakpa opened his defense, he chose to testify for himself.
Okay.
So after he testified, he filed a witness statement, testified. Then we came with our cross-examination. So you recall that it was my cross-examination of Jakpa that all these other matters started coming up. You remember?
Yes.
So after I finished, the Attorney General also had to take a bite by way of cross-examination. So yesterday, he also gave an indication that he's done with his cross-examination.
Is that the end of Mr. Jakpa's case? What indication are you getting from him?
No. Already, Richard Jakpa, you see, we do what is called CMC, case management. So he's already given an indication that he's calling additional 8 witnesses. Yes.
8 witnesses,
so,
in addition to himself?
Yes.
Okay. So he'll call he'll start that from, I understand the case has been adjourned to the 11th.
So on the 11th, he's bringing Big C. He was the agent of Big C.
Okay.
So now his principal is coming to speak.
Okay.
He's also giving the indication that I think he will call the Speaker of Parliament. Remember, he was a Minister of Health at the time of this transaction. He's also giving the indication that he's calling the then Director of National Ambulance Service, Professor Zakaria.
Okay.
remember that the Attorney General brought document from the military to try to impugn his integrity or credibility.
Okay.
He's also giving the indication that he may call the subpoena the CDS.
The Chief of Defense Staff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so that's basically it.
Wow. So you have 8 witnesses to go.
Absolutely.
So after those 8 witnesses are called, their evidences are heard.
Each one of them will be cross-examined.
Okay.
So they will come and testify. So they will give what you call evidence in chief.
Okay.
After that, they will be cross-examined by first accused, then the Attorney General.
Which means the case is nowhere near close to ending soon.
I don't know what to say because it will not take, obviously, a case to cross-examine all this.
But now currently based on the operation, how many days, how many times are you supposed to appear in court in a week?
Twice.
Twice?
Yes. Remember that the same judge is the one doing the Republic versus Michael Yinaku, the Beige Bank issue.
Okay.
And she does it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the same time.
Okay.
So you notice that the Attorney General was requesting for additional days. And the judge said she effectively sits every day. Also remember that she's a justice of the Court of Appeal. So she has to go and do her Court of Appeal duties before the additional responsibilities.
We were particularly taken aback when we heard that Attorney General carried in the cross-examination. We understand that it started, I think, was it Tuesday when he did the first one? Or was it last week, Thursday, when he actually started and then did one yesterday? Because we felt he would have listened to the judge's advice. Did that surprise you at all?
No, if you can repeat that portion.
I'm wondering whether you were as surprised as we were when the Attorney General decided to step up and actually do the cross-examination himself.
Oh, you see, I have always maintained that there's an account saying, maybe at that time, the Attorney General felt that he was better placed to do the cross than any other person. That's his own decision. I can't begrudge him.
Because I haven't seen him, then we're now wondering whether that's the end of the matters that were raised in the tape. Because if he's continuing to perform his duties without any form of hindrance, the tape is before the court, yet everything goes on as normal, is that the end?
No, I mean, where things are now, it's solely before the judge. She would not decide at the end of the day what to do.
The last time I also had a conversation with you, you had indicated that you were looking at other options aside putting it before the judge. Is that still on the table?
Step by step.
Step by step.
But some of the steps are extrajudicial, that is outside the court. For instance, if you are going to the General Legal Council, that cannot be a judicial process.
Are you confident in the case you have made on behalf of your client?
The ruling by the judge on the subject is clear.
The ruling is clear.
It's clear.
Explain it.
Usually,
Yeah.
usually a ruling on a submission of notice where the judge says to is different. Usually it's like a roadmap. So once you walk through the road, and in the words of the judge in the ruling, he said, look, the burden on us as accused person, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lesser burden. And that's why we brought Seth Terkper. Yes.
So
in the superior words of the judge, he said, look, it's a lesser burden.
So you felt your job was to prove that your client did not one act out of his own accord and did nothing wrong.
No, so now you can repeat that
Yeah,
portion.
I'm wondering if your job was basically to prove that one your client did not act out of his own accord and never acted wrong when he actually instructed when he acted on the LCs.
Now, my client is in respect of the right.
Yes.
Mark exhibit. In that letter, at the bottom line, client signed and said for minister and copied. So now, the chief director, controller. When you sign for, what does it mean?
Educate me.
When you sign a letter for someone, it means the person you are signing for is the one responsible. And the person came to court to say, yes, I authorize. What the attorney general has the opportunity of cross-examining. This is pretty simple.
I see. Well, very interesting. But let me ask you, as a lawyer, and I'm sure we have listened to Mr. Richard Dagwa 2 interviews, and in both interviews, he takes the Attorney General to the cleanest, virtually drag him through the mud. In terms of some of the descriptions he used of the Attorney General, in fact, yesterday he called him despicable. Are these matters that the court to be concerned about, or this is purely a tussle between the two of them on the sidelines?
I will leave those other commentaries out. Let's focus on the evidence before the court.
I see. Lawyer, thank you very much for speaking to us.
God bless you.
Lawyer Godwin Edujukujo Tameklo is Director Legal for the National Democratic Congress, one of the lawyers for Dr. Ato Forson, who is the minority leader, is an accused person in this hearing, in the proceedings. Now you can also watch. So on the 11th, when they go to court, just watch out for that Zoom link, and you can also watch what will happen in court. Like lawyer was saying. So on 11th, the man is bringing Big C. So he's an agent. Richard Jakpa is an agent of Big C. They are the ones who actually are the contracting party. They would be in court. So someone from Big C will tell them in court to give evidence. And then lawyer has also indicated that we might be seeing the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagbin, also giving evidence, because at the time he was the health minister when the processes started. Remember, another person who was also involved is Madam Sheria Ayite, but she's passed on. The other one is Mr. Alex Egbefia. So the Speaker of Parliament might come. There's he's also indicated that he will also bring the Director of National Ambulance Service at the time. The Director of the National Ambulance Service at the time. And then I think one other person, CDS. He might ask the court to subpoena the CDS, the Chief of Defense Staff. Because if you realize, somewhere last week, I think Mr. like Bavlolate, is it Kenna retired, also shared his views on that there was a confidential, so I don't know whether to say a committee. So somebody was asked to do a work for that. So a senior military officer actually did put together a report. And there was a confidential document, which means that even Mr. Richard Jakpa, who is also an ex-serviceman, serving in the military at the time, who was the subject of this, whether it was an investigation or whatever it was, he didn't know of this. Even he was not aware. It was something that was purely done on his blind side, an investigation that was done in confidence. The reports are submitted in confidence to the high command of the military and was supposed to be only for the consumption of the high command. This report has not only found its way into court, this report that was authored by that senior military officer has also ended up in the media. In fact, there are people who have it on TV stations, people have read it out. It's been published. Something that was supposed to be confidential. Confidential means even the subject. So the person who you are talking about, the person has never been confronted with whatever evidence you have. So maybe our boss asked that, oh, I've heard that Senna is doing something. Go and check and come and give me a report. So when you go and check and come and tell our boss what exactly what you found, it stays between you and the boss. Whatever the boss does subsequently with it, because your evidence, you and the Senna have never stood in one room. You say whatever you found and Senna responded, it becomes something confidential to your boss. So it was not supposed to be in the public domain, but it was in the public domain. So Richard Jakpa was taken aback completely by what was read to him. And now, so he wants the Chief of Defense Staff. He said he wants the Chief of Defense Staff to be subpoenaed at some point